All across the world, COVID-19 has cost people their jobs, lifestyle, and even family members. This pandemic is completely unprecedented, and with it has come so many consequences. One of the leading being that the numbers of those affected by food insecurity are skyrocketing. In fact, in 2018, an estimated 1 in 9 Americans were food insecure, equating to over 37 million Americans. And this was said by the Department of Agriculture in September of 2019. This pandemic has worsened the situations of those already struggling to make ends meet. Ultimately, we need to continually provide government and community assistance to those affected by food insecurity. We need to continue our assistance of families in need with stimulus checks and federal assistance in the form of food stamps, pantries, drives, and donations. I want to begin with assessing the main points of the issue. This pandemic has negatively affected the rates of food insecurity in the US, meaning families are not making enough money or receiving enough money to pay for food because they have either lost their jobs, homes, or livelihoods due to the circumstances out of their control. To further explain this is an article posted by the Providence Hospital on June 14th, 2020, which states that food insecurity undermines the physical and mental health of everyone it affects and amplifies the health disparities and economic differences for people who were already among our most vulnerable. It is highly imperative that we do not rush the recovery of our nation and cut off federal assistance too soon. We need to make sure actions are being set in place to allow all families and those in need to receive help during these unprecedented times. A news release on May 6, 2020 for the Chicago Tribune states that if we do not take action, the emergency help will end far before the economy recovers, and it will mostly bypass the neediest families, few of whom qualify for jobless benefits. Now I will assess the causes of food insecurity. The causes of food insecurity have expanded to more than just the usual culprits. The pandemic has ushered in a new problems in areas we did not have to worry about pre-COVID. Actually, as explained by the Center for Science and Public Interest on November 18, 2018, the causes lie with food supply chain disruptions, shortened store shopping hours, and limitations on getting food from restaurants and school cafeterias. Families in the United States struggling with the food insecurity are disproportionately impacted by this pandemic. It is also important for us to understand that food insecurity is affecting Black and other minority communities in larger proportions than those of white communities. Thus widening the already existent gap of disparity between the communities. In an article for the Atlanta Journal on July 20, 2020, they focus on this gap, saying while food insecurity has gone up across the board during this pandemic, experts say the well-documented racial gap between the minorities and white workers about what they earn and other systemic inequities have worsened food access issues because of the pandemic. Now, I will move on to the most important part of the speech, the solution to the problem. An article for the NYC Food Policy Center released on December 14, 2020, explains how you can show your support for those experiencing food insecurity by volunteering at local food pantries, donating food, rescuing produce from grocery stores, donating money for food distribution organizations, and writing to policymakers. On a government level, our society can help by pushing forward better programs to help the public recover from the financial hardships caused by this pandemic. To increase food security, economic security, and economic stimulus, Congress should increase the generosity of food security programs immediately and ensure that benefit levels stay elevated consistent with economic data. And this was said by Lauren Bauer for the Brookings Institution on May 6, 2020. In conclusion, our work in healing our nation from this pandemic is far from ending. Even though I know the public is ready to move past all the pain that it has caused us, we cannot ignore the fact that the pain has not ended for a lot of people across our country. I share the opinion stated by the publication of the American Public Health Association on November 12, 2020, that clearly states that steps taken to date have not been enough to ensure low-income and out-of-work Americans do not go hungry. We are not doing enough in terms of federal relief and government assistance to fight this issue of food insecurity, which has increased exponentially because of the pandemic. We need to make sure there are stimulus checks, extra money allocated towards families with children and unemployment, and food distribution programs stay running in all areas that are in need for as long as possible, regardless of the state of the pandemic. Thank you.